Something that we haven't touched on is the philosophical and spiritual roots of mine and yours relationship that is woven through everything that we do. And we've talked a lot about grifters. I think that it should be abundantly clear to anybody who's listening that we are not fans of that. But I want to hear from your perspective. Like, how has philosophy and spirituality informed the work that you do, that we do, and how do you feel that's like important for the clients that we work with to understand? Like, what's the ethical backbone that we're bringing to the table that is not necessarily just rooted in like we all want to make more money? I think that's a given. Like we've talked about, businesses need that. But tell me more about, how are we not grifters? How are we not being grifters? What is the backbone there?
You and I specifically, I can't speak for everyone, but you and I specifically share love and reverence for God.
Mm-hmm.
And we root ourselves in the cardinal virtues that we've learned to love and take on as cardinal directions through philosophy. So weaving in spiritual or God and weaving in the philosophy of the cardinal virtues. When we were leaving a former company, when you left and then I ended up exiting or selling, there was a book that radically shifted both you and me that you introduced to me.
The Last Days of Socrates.
Yeah.
It's ironic that the studio is themed and inspired by Greece.
I know. Yeah, that book messed me up in a good way.
I tell people, like, be careful with this book.
Yeah,
because
man.
it will fucking change you.
Yeah, that book messed me up in a good way. It's usually the book that is like most beat up and tattered on my shelf. It's like on my nightstand almost at all times.
Same, mine's falling apart.
It's just falling apart, dude. And wisdom, courage, modesty, justice, those four right there are the cardinal virtues. And I wholeheartedly believe that everyone knows what those are. They don't have to be defined. You don't need the etymology of them. You don't need the breakdown of them. You know
in your soul
if you're being modest or not. You know if you're being just or not. You know if you're being humble or not. You know if you're being virtuous. And I mean, I'm a human, right? Like,
no one's perfect. We don't pretend to be on the internet.
I'm not exempt by any means, but it's in the words of cardinal virtues, cardinal directions. I think of a compass.
Yeah.
Right. And I assign north, south, east, west to those virtues. And it's like if you use a compass and you follow those cardinal directions, you won't get lost. Right. And so as often as I can, bringing myself back to those virtues are what help keep me aligned.
Yeah.
In business and in relationships. And I really believe that business is relationships. And I only want to do business I only want to do business with people that I would do life with.
Right.
And so having people like yourself, like Steven, like Kevin, people who are aligned in virtue
right
at the root of their soul, regardless of religion, regardless of spiritual belief, regardless even if they're into philosophy, you can tell when somebody is virtuous. And that's also something that I take into when considering a new client.
Exactly.
Is this individual virtuous? Right? Are they doing it just to make more money? Like you opened up with, I want to make more money. I'm down. Duh. And I only want to work with people who are humble, people who are modest, people who, we have one client who's like, hey, I'm down to cut my salary in half just to give, rev share to some of the key players on the team. Like when he said that, I was like, baller.
Yeah.
I was like that.
Yeah. We had another one who said there's, I'll never run these kinds of ads in my shows because that's just not within my integrity.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not going to do that.
Despite knowing that it will work.
That they would crush.
It will work.
And they would crush.
And we know people that do those ads and they crush.
Yeah.
Right? But for him, it was out of alignment with what he considers to be integritous with who he is.
Exactly.
And that to me, it's so important, man.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think for me, going back to the last days of Socrates, there's this beautiful scene in that book where Socrates is on trial, right?
Yeah.
And he has to plead his case to 300 Athenian citizens for why he shouldn't be, tried and put to death.
Yeah.
And in most situations, especially at that time in Greek culture, you would have placated to the audience.
Yeah.
You would have done everything you could to convince them that you weren't guilty of this thing. And instead, Socrates shows up and decides to spend the entire time blasting every single person in that room. And there's this line, and I can't remember it fully, it's big, but he essentially says, "How are you so obsessed with money and power and status, but you care not for the character of your soul?
Yeah.
Don't you know that that is the most important thing?" And I think that, when we read that book, that's what we walked away with, because we were in an environment where that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And we saw the corrosive effects of that. We've seen that in multiple iterations throughout our life. And at some point, and I love that you said this, it doesn't matter whether it comes from a spiritual tradition, philosophy, life experience, whatever, but you decide at some point that I'm going to put goodness
first.
Summum
bonum.
Summum bonum. And nothing else will be considered outside of that.
Yeah.
And when you put that in a business context, that becomes really powerful, because again, like in the age of the internet, one of the things that's really beautiful is that the grifters are getting found out. You know what I mean? It's like now all the shit is out there all the time.
Yeah.
And before, people were blind to it. So grifters killed it. They just crushed, because you could literally say anything. And I've fallen for this. Everybody I know has fallen this. There's some pattern where they listen to someone and they go, they must know. Yeah. And then they realize at some point, like, oh my God, they didn't.
Yeah, the reality
they were lying.
The reality is they would make. I bet they would 3x what they do if they just came from a place of that integrity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I love the last thing that you said, and it's that it not only applies to us, but it applies to who we're looking for.
Yeah.
Like we have actually worked with clients and been like, you know what? Never again. Yeah. Never again. That person, never again. Because they did not have the integrity that we hold ourselves to. Yeah. And I want no part of that.
Yeah.
And, the other place that I see it reflect is the kinds of businesses.
Yeah.
Like there's not a single business that we're working with right now, and I can't imagine this changing, that isn't focused on helping other people in ways that reduce human suffering.
Exactly.
Which again is kind of core to our internal philosophy. And you could hear it through all of our stories where it's like, we want to solve that for ourselves, and we want to help solve that for other people.
Every single person that we are affiliated with in this work is in one way or another contributing to the epidemic of connection.
Yeah.
Right? With themselves, with their lovers, with students, with men, right? Like with through men's work, or women. And that is a very rewarding type of work to be a part of, right? And to be considered to support in, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love my job. It's very easy to say.
I wake up every day and think, holy shit, I am so grateful.
I love my job. Yeah. And like, what a great feeling, because there have been moments when I fucking loathed it, owning it as the owner, and the profits and the status and I was like, this sucks. Like, this sucks, dude. I was overweight. I was bags under my eyes. I was like no libido. Like my relationships were suffering.
Yeah, your soul was getting crushed.
Just crushed.
Peace is where a man settles.
Yeah,
a wise person once told me that.
Yeah, peace is where a man settles. Not money, not fame. I think Denzel Washington said that, but I think he did. I don't know. But man, I heard that and it has stuck with me ever since.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's also tough too, because like as I shared earlier, like I'm a pressure applier. I put a lot of pressure on myself and sometimes on the people around me. Like, and it comes from a place of tough love. It comes from a place of like, I have high standards. Like, I really do. And like in business, like you have to set the standards and you have to the high standards, and you can't apologize for those high standards, which I've been
But again, you can hold people to account with integrity and grace.
Yeah.
And you can also be a monster.
Yeah. There's no better feeling than firing a client.
Facts.
Very true.
For the wrong, for being out of integrity or out of alignment, or like just it no longer fitting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a refiner's fire. That's one of the things I love about that focus.
Yeah.
Is that it just makes clear. It's kind of like Kevin's filter idea.
Yeah.
It's like, I know exactly what I don't want.
Yeah. We just, I mean, we had one of our, clients effectively increased what, like, they're paying us by a third, and it's increasing, by a few grand every 2-3 months based on certain KPIs. And it's like, whoa. I'd rather go deeper with this individual client rather than take on another client because of the operational lift that it takes when taking on somebody new. Totally okay with that. However, we already know that we have an established relationship with this person that is fully aligned.
The integrity's aligned.
Exactly. And I'd so rather go deeper with that. Like, we've all talked about it internally. Like, we're totally okay with a $2-3 million business that's doing anywhere from 40-60% margins. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't know about you. I'm totally fucking okay with that. Like, that's enough. That's enough. And it's like, that will get redistributed and invested in other ways, right? That will then go on to flourish in many ways. But like, for what we're doing here from the work that we do in praxis, again, to be in practice is satiating for my soul, and it also satiates my desire to build and create, because I fucking love it, dude. I love the parts of the funnels. I love the pages. I love putting it all together. And it's like a symphony,
Yeah.
when it all comes together and like the music plays, you're like, you wake up or you turn the ads on, and in like 3 hours, you're like, holy shit, like, we're ripping right now. It's like, this is insane,
Yeah.
So I love that part. That's probably the dopaminergic response.
Yeah. And then put your head on the pillow at night knowing I did that.
Yeah.
And was a good person.
Yeah. And then I'm like, let's run it back.
Yeah.
Let's run it back, dude. So yeah, this has been great, man.
Happy to
big
be
love.
doing life with you
Yeah.
and with Kevin.
Yep. Let's do it. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.